Hello friends, God is good all the time. Today I wanted to show you an update of my my deck garden. Now if you watched my Homestead Happenings Part 1, I did a rough overview of the main garden out in the backyard that you can see a little bit through that entryway there, or exit way. So I'm gonna just walk you around my deck a little bit here, and I'm carrying the camera today, so bear with me. I'm gonna try really hard to go slow and not be so jittery and all that. So really the deck garden starts here. Okay, we've got our walkway up, and this is our shop, this building here. And what I have down here is, and I don't know if I'll ever see fruit off of them in this little square box, the little small square box. Are some, I started to get fruit off of them, but then last year, the birds, between the birds and the slugs, they were down in the ground in the puppy play, where the puppy play area is now. And what are they called? An all field berry. They're similar to a raspberry, but they stay very small. And then when I made that section over there, and I'll show you that in a bit, where the puppies, you know, their little area for going potty and playing when I don't want them out in the backyard. I rescued a few of the plants because they were tearing them to shreds, and moved them into pots, and that one there is pretty much the only one that survived. So anyway, right here in this box, this taller one, these are all falling apart. They're so old, these boxes. I need my husband to build me some more. Are some more beans that I planted. Now these ones are way behind. I've planted them again and again, because even in that box up on the deck, the slugs were still eating them. So they've just now only reached to this flower pot, the pansy pot there. And if you look up here, you'll see that string and still a little bit of remnants of last year's beans. Yeah, that's where they were last year at this time. And then the pansies I grow, I've got some planted out front. I've got some planted in pots around the deck. And the reason they're not as thick as you would expect with flowers is because I harvest them continually and dehydrate them for using in my soaps, clay masks, shampoos, and hair rinses and stuff like that. All right, this is our very old wood stove that we used to have in the house, and we moved, and then we replaced it, got a bigger wood stove with a flat surface. This is a step. This one's a step kind. And so it had, I used to cook on it quite a bit, but it was harder because I couldn't put really big pots on it because of the way it was built. So we got a much bigger one with a total flat surface with no step on it. And so we stuck it out here because I still like the look of it. We need to kind of clean it up again. And then I'm growing strawberries on it. Now, as you can see, these strawberries this year in this particular area are just, it's not like I don't water them. I do. But I think what I need to do is get in there and thin them out. Sorry, the neighbor kids are talking to me. Hey, guys! And I think that's what the problem is there. All right, so moving over, you'll see I've got an extension cord hanging there, and that hooks into my LED lights right there that I have at the bottom of the parasol, the umbrella. And then over there are some more strawberries, and they're doing so-so. The plants look a little healthier on there, but chewed up by bugs. And this is this grapevine here. I have 4 grapevines total, or grape plants. This one is an amber grape. I wish I could remember the full name of it. And it's starting to go this way across the shop here. It's growing up on the roof. I got to get up there and prune it back. I've pruned this thing back so many times this summer just so that it doesn't totally overshadow all my other plants on the garden or on the deck. And it still just keeps growing even with as little sun as we've had this summer. I want to show you down here. You see that? Right there is where I made an entryway for the puppies to get down into that section so I could just open the back door and let them out, and they can go down that section and do their business. And I'll take you around there in a bit. This is one of my blueberries. All of my blueberries are in pots. And I got about 3 gallons off of them this year. And that's plenty enough for me and Patrick for the year, because we don't eat a lot of fruit. We try to focus more on vegetables and stuff like that. But and blueberries, we like them quite a bit, but they're not our favorite berry. We prefer blackberries and raspberries over blueberries, but it is nice to have the blueberries for sure for a change. And so yeah, this actually gives us more than we need, because I still probably have 1.5 gallons from last year in blueberries, and then got another 3 gallons this year. All right, so these grapes all kind of mix in and cross over with each other, but I can kind of tell by the shape. The ambers have a more, they got a ways to go before they're ripe. As you can see, everything's way behind because of our cold summer. They have more of an oblong shape, where the Buffalo Blues, which are right here, I can tell which ones are the Buffalo Blues, because they're, obviously I'll tell when they start turning blue, but they're definitely more round. Okay, so they grow all along up there. Now this pot right here, I had pansies in that too, but I had to move them out front after a while because the grapevines shaded it so much they stopped blooming. And in fact, I had a pot in every section between the posts with pansies in it, and had to move all of them. Now this right here in this pot was a plum tree that we got a few years ago, and it was doing okay. And then it just up and died on us. And I think it's because we just never got it in the ground. When we bought all these fruit trees that are in pots, at the time we thought we'd be able to get them into the ground the very next year, but it just hasn't happened yet. There's too many things that need to be done. And we're taking out the trees in the front yard, the big trees. I don't know if we'll take out the cedar, but we took out one cedar, and then there's another cedar we may or may not take out. I really hate to see that one go. I love it. And then there's a mountain ash that we're going to need to take out, and then we're going to plant fruit trees out there and where they were at. But I don't know if you can tell on this, I've got more bean plants growing here, and that's what those red flowers are. And these are both the Scarlet Runner and then the Sunset Runner. That one gives the peach colored flowers. And there's some beans on it. So again, being creative. I wanted to get lots and lots of beans this year. Sorry, the dogs. They're going berserk because somebody drove by. How dare they drive by? Hang on. Alright, and you can see one of my clotheslines. This is my smaller clothesline that's up on the deck. I use for smaller things. Hanging wash rags and kitchen towels and socks. Okay, and then there's the entryway. That little board is, I love it actually. But this was my husband's, what he called his hillbilly gate that he made to keep the puppies contained on the deck until he got, because he was in the process. We had the whole fence out there taken down, and the puppies are only 7 months old right now, and we couldn't have them running loose. And plus they have rat terrier in them, which that is going to make them more explorative and want to run off. So another blueberry, more grapes. Again, remember, what you're seeing is from 4 grape plants we bought a few years ago. Last year was the first year we got a big harvest off of them. This was our smaller apple tree. We have another one that's in the ground that we've had since, it's been here since we moved into this house. When were we married? Well, we've been married for 27 years, so yeah, 27 years ago. And anyway, surprisingly enough, I think I said this in the other video, we got a lot of apples off that little thing. I couldn't believe it. And it's in a pot. It could have been all that horse manure I piled in there. More blueberries and herbs. That's catnip right there in the middle. And those are my Alaskan red nasturtiums that I planted really late. I have some others growing around here and there that actually have flowers on them. And they're just beautiful. They're this beautiful burgundy color, which is what I hope they would be. And I love them. They're my new favorite nasturtium. And then the grapevines continue clear to this side. In fact, they just just this year started filling in this section, because the reason it took so long to get over there is because all 4 of the grapevine plants, the first one starts on to the right side of the, off the steps down there, and then the second one to the left side. These are my Niagara whites that are on either side of the steps. And then the buffalo blue is in the center down there. I'm pointing at it, but you won't be able to see where it's coming up. And then the amber is way over there, just to the right of the little entryway down into the puppy area. So, yeah, and that's why it's taken that long for them to spread all the way across to here. But now they're filling that in. And as you can see, you can barely see the neighbor's house from over there. And when they're out on their deck or looking out their bedroom window, you can be sitting out here and they can't see anything, at least this time of year. And of course, this is the only time of year we like to really hang out on the deck anyway. So it's pretty cool, that privacy. And then once Pat adds that other couple feet to that fence, it'll be completely private in our backyard at all times. And that, I'm really looking forward to that. We have great neighbors. I have no problems with them. It's just, I just like being able to come out in my backyard and have complete privacy, and for them to have privacy too when they're having family and on their back deck. So I want to show you something else about that clothesline. There is where the clothesline hooks up to the house. Now, what's really cool about this is a circa 1940s, early 1940s, maybe late 1930s clothesline. And as you see, it winds up. Now, we did replace the rope or cable that was inside it with some, I can't remember what the weight of this paracord is, but it's a smaller paracord. It wouldn't, which means that it wouldn't technically be paracord, but because it's not 550. But anyway, it's just the right size. And the one that was in there was just too short to span the whole distance across the deck. So I'm going to go this way, slowly. You'll see my solar panels there on top of the shop. And then it goes all the way across and then connects to that side. So then what happens is when we're having a barbecue or whatever out here, or in the winter time, I just take all the clips off and roll the thing up. Now this clothesline is not an issue for me because I'm so short I can walk under it no problem. But most everyone else runs into it, so it's just nice to not have it up there when you have company. I'm not sure if I covered everything about what's on here. Now I have more catnip growing in this pot right there. And then I have catnip growing. I have a couple of good sized plants. One out in the main garden that you would have seen on the other video. And then some in the front garden or side garden area alongside my dance room / dojang. And the catnip we use, that's one of our pain remedies / anti-inflammatories. It's good for a bunch of other stuff, but it really is it really works. So that's one of the ways we take care of pain without using any kind of pharmaceuticals. Which, what I found since going all natural, I don't get headaches like I used to. I used to get headaches several times a week. I wouldn't call them migraines. The way people describe migraines, I don't think I ever had a headache like that. I've had bad headaches, but not like that. But I used to just get them a lot, sometimes daily. And I took the ibuprofen. I tried not to take very much, and I didn't take it every time I had a headache because I just always felt that was wrong, and it makes you more dependent on it. But then when I just quit it all together and started depending on more like essential oils, rubbing a little bit of lavender oil under my nose and into my temples was one way, and then taking the feverfew that I showed you in the other video and the catnip, I find that I don't get headaches near as often, and hardly at all, in fact. You know, but you're still going to have other aches and pains, like you hurt your back or a muscle or whatever. And since it's anti-inflammatory as well, You know, you can, it's great. And the feverfew in itself, it also is really good for stomach problems. It just tastes nasty. The catnip has a better flavor. Some people might not like it. It's quite spicy. Not hot by my standards, but just, it's got a spicy flavor. But anyway, it's really good for you. So that's my deck garden. And I'm going to show you and take you down into that puppy play area that you got a glimpse of earlier in the other video, and show you a little bit more there. Okay, so this little, what I call the puppy play area, was a temporary setup until the fence was done. But I'm still using it because, you know, it was temporary so the dogs could still have a place to go outside and then go potty out here. And I threw all that sawdust down there so it's easy to clean up their mess, and it keeps it, when it's raining, it keeps it a little, you know, so it's not so squishy. They hate coming out here when it's wet, but when I put the sawdust on there, they didn't mind it so much. But I'm leaving it up right now for a while until I know I can trust them, because Cody keeps finding ways, even though we got the fence built, he keeps finding ways out. And so, you know, like places where, yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's just the way it is. On top of that, Luna is in heat right now, and so I gotta really keep her contained as much as possible in case another dog comes into the yard. All right, so here, this is one of my goji berries. This is like the mediocre, doing so-so. I have 8 of them, and I have like 3 of them that are just barely hanging in there. And then I have some that are doing great. And then this is one of my middle of the ground ones. It's healthy. It's doing good. It's just not as big as the other ones. And then you see I have right up here more pansies. I have strawberries. You would have seen some of this in my other video when I was showing the peach tree with the beans. See the beans hanging on there? Growing on it, because I planted beans at the base to make the most of my space. I've got a thornless blackberry right there that's also in a pot that eventually we're going to move. We've got a couple different ideas. I want to put it against the wooden fence back here, but Pat's talking about putting a chain link fence out front and then planting it there and then letting it just grow along there. It just gets huge blackberries. Okay, so way back there in the back, that is more of that amber grape. Just one plant. It was grown up there and along the shop that way, heading south. This is heading north, and the grapes on that one, on this one, are actually doing the best. And I think it's because it heats up in the morning when the sun's hitting it, and then because this is facing east, and then stays the shop wall, and they're just being in that kind of enclosed area, I think keeps them warm throughout the day. So it's doing really good. My little rinky-dink trellis that Pat threw together quickly a few years ago because I stuck some tomato plants out there and they just need something to climb on. And well, now that thing is so rinky-dink. My husband usually builds things really sturdy, but that was just a hurried little, let's just throw this together just because these tomatoes are laying over. And the grapevines are pretty much holding it together now. Well, I thought the doggies would still be up here on the deck. Those little pillows down there, that lion with the flat head because they pulled all his brains out. And then the tiger one used to belong to my kids when they were young, and now they're puppy pillows. They love to lay out here in the sun, but I think they went inside because now the clouds came and covered up the sun. It's just one of those days. But I wanted to show you because I made some cloth diapers for Luna during her this time while she's in heat, and you can't really see it because she's really black, and the diaper I made, the outer part is made out of a waterproof black, it's called the PUL polyurethane, and so you can't really tell. It just makes her look like she's got a big booty. But she doesn't really like it very much. She's pretty good about me putting that on her. So anyway, I've got my solar oven out here, and even though it's cloudy, all I'm doing in this today is making chicken stock. I heated it up on the solar room hot plate in the kitchen just to give it a start, because I knew that it was kind of iffy. And when I set it in here, the sun was shining on here. And since it's just something I like to just simmer anyway, I think it'll stay hot enough in here, because the sun's going to come out here in a minute anyway. And even then, if worse comes to worse, I can take it back in, put it on the hot plate. You know, we've got a good battery bank, so I can just simmer it in there if I have to. All right, so that is my deck garden from this side, and then in a future video I'll do some more on my other garden areas, because I have a raspberry patch, and then I have about 3 different little garden areas out on the south side and the west side of the house. So right now, looking this way, this is north. Okay, so, and then obviously that makes this east on this side. Alright, so there's my deck garden, and hope you liked it. Hope this gave you some ideas of what you can do in pots. Oh, I should add in those blueberries. We've had those in pots since we bought them, and I think this is our 4th year. And they just keep getting bigger, and just like the grapevines, I keep hacking them down, hacking them back a little bit. But, you know, they're just growing crazy. I mean, the main key is you got to keep feeding that soil, because they'll keep taking that dirt and that soil and turning it into more plants. So you got to keep adding more back in there. Best things for blueberries is grass clippings, blood meal, and chicken manure. Those 3 things. And during when I'm mowing the lawn, I just keep, through the summer, I just keep piling the grass clippings on there. And then when I do the last layer of grass clippings before winter, then, you know, and when the grass, you know, it's the last mow, then I'll put down another cup of blood meal per plant, and a good layer of chicken manure that I usually get from somebody, you know, like my sister-in-law also has chickens. I think she still has chickens, and even if she doesn't, I know lots of people that do. Like I said in another video, I barter with my homemade items for eggs until we get chickens of our own. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and
the puppies
God
are back
bless.
out now that the sun is shining, and I just moved their pillows again so they could stay in the sun. I don't know if you can see there, poor Luna in her diaper. She's good about it though. She really is. I always give her a treat when I put that on her. Now neither one of the puppies are fixed. The one on the right, that's Biscotti. I call him Cody for short. And he's male. He's fully intact. I plan to never get him fixed because I don't think it's healthy. The Luna is actually my son and his girlfriend's dog, and she's usually here quite a bit. So, how on earth am I managing that?